Welcome to 360 Art Drops with a Z, everyone. We have our 35th podcast today with McKenzie Chase. I'm so honored to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. So what are all the different kinds of art and dance and all the different types of things that you do?
Yeah, so I started practicing dance when I was 3.
Oh, wow.
I did that for 11 years. I like in a very serious capacity. I then became a dance teacher. I
Oh,
have more
wow.
recently been an aerialist, so performed doing the big metal hoop, the lira is what it's called.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah, so body movement's really something that interests me. I also dabble in a lot of different mediums. So I'm currently in my friend's fabric design studio, and she makes plush rooms, which I'll totally show you one later. There's just not one in hand's reach, I realize.
Is it like or
So yeah, I do textiles. I design bougie rave blankets, custom different types of fabrics paired with different types of faux furs that are really cozy and inviting and make you feel real cool and also have like a really nice tactile feel to them, which to those of us who are either recently diagnosed neurodivergent as adults or have known for a while, the way that things touch and feel can make a really big difference on your emotional state. So yeah,
oh
I like
yeah.
to create things that
I didn't
create
know that.
coziness.
Wow, that's great. And so the main reason that we have you on here today is for your genuine, authentic, and expression, and actually carrying out your passion for safe Nook spaces, which is what you created. So how did you go about creating this concept, and how did you go about finding ways to execute?
So I initially started out wanting to be a psychiatrist. I have a Bachelor of Science in Psychology.
Oh wow,
The
I have
human
a
condition fascinates
bachelor's in
me.
cognitive science, so we're kind of close in that area.
Wow, I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yay.
So are you
What's up, sis? So, I then just started to learn about, how different medications can sometimes become more problematic than therapeutic, and that there's a lot of different modalities and different healing practices and different sorts of things, alternative medicines, plant medicines, things that can be really of service to people. And I'm also a creative, so I've been working in event production and working to do sound, box office promotions, performance, you name it. I DJ also. I forgot to mention that earlier.
all right?
Uh, but I see a big gap in that cozy, safe space, harm reduction environment in dance music events. My vision is more about preventative care versus let's wait until they need to go to medical or they need to go to sanctuary, is what they call it at a lot of events. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
when someone's already in like psychedelic crisis and is doing not okay, right?
Okay. Okay.
So my goal is to get them on the front end with hydration, vitamins. Do you want somewhere to sit down just for a moment? Maybe you're just overwhelmed and dysregulated. Again, speaking about neurodivergency, or maybe you're just a regular, normal, wired person who's just overwhelmed or overstimulated. It happens literally to anyone. So just
Right.
having somewhere to sit down and have a snack, have some hydration, have someone who cares about you can really keep people from going down that like further spiraling where they then need again and more advanced treatment.
Oh, okay. Um, Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Um,
That's okay.
so, you're planning on doing it at any events all over the world, and what like how did you get inspired, and what features and elements does your Safe Nook space have that that these sanctuary events they don't have? It's basically a preliminary or
Yeah, so it's more proactive and it's also like a fun space to be in. So there's also a component that's a creativity lab where we can do arts and crafts together. I've got an upgrade your sunglasses kit and I have a bunch of different colored just lenses, you know, they're pretty cheap glasses from Amazon, I hate to say, but that's where I get them. And I've got a bunch of like things you can bedazzle and bejewel them with or add tassels or make them your own. And sometimes just having a craft or something to focus on can be a really good outlet. So it's more of like a fun hangout zone as opposed to like, this is a peaceful, super medical zone, or it needs to be zen or super clinical. Like, it's like, come hang out. We're listening to music. We're making snacks together. Like, what's up? Like, it's more of an activation and a space for people to gather versus like this is where someone needs for to go when they really need that solace. It's more communal, if that makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. So I did hear your other podcast on consent. I forgot the name of the podcast. How many different podcasts have you been on, and like what different kinds of topics did you address in these different podcasts?
Sure. So this is honestly my second podcast that I've ever been on.
Oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, so this is new for me. I've been creating content for my podcast called Keep It Cute, which is also my event series, which I'm in major content creation mode and just not quite in the space to produce it yet. When I
Uh-huh.
get back from Burning Man, I will be in a better headspace to be able to focus on it, which is super important to me. But I'm leaving for Burning Man in 5 days, so I've got a
Okay.
lot of Nook
Thank you
things
for
to do
taking
to
the
prepare.
time for us to actually converse. Um,
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am excited in this moment. I was so excited when you asked me. So I think having opportunities to communicate about what it is that we do as artists or creatives or community supporters is really important because sometimes you can talk about a thing briefly, but people may or may not really get it. But if they can dive into something like this, they can understand it a little bit better.
yeah, I'm like I'm super impressed by all the things that you do and who you are and everything. I just the whole thing that I heard with the other podcast that you said, I don't want you to repeat everything, but I definitely think that in this day and age, what you're doing is like very, very, very important because especially the consent part, even if you're a girl or a guy, anyone, you know, especially from the culture that I come from, and just I mean anywhere in the world it's important, but some of the cultures that are a little more restricted, and you know where there's taboos to not talk about these type of elements that you're bringing to the table. You know, it's not that I haven't thought about it, but you know, having a thought and execution, it's like nice to see you executing something that like there's a need for, because you know, I can't remember. I can't even think of how many times that I would have benefited from having someone like you around with your NookSafeSpace around, because you know it's not open to talk about these type of things, because you know the second that you open it, you know, it's usually your fault. Like it's my fault, you know, it's not the other person's fault. There's no cover, you know, for types of things except for having like a brother, or you know, there's not, it's not, it's condemned. Basically you become condemned, you know. So that's why I just wanted to share with you that like how your work is so important, you know, and to have it in more places would be so so nice.
So
I
I
hope.
have actually one of my consent stickers with me.
Nice.
And so these are nonverbal communication opportunities that I give to people either at the door or at Nook Safe Space. So you can nonverbally communicate if you are a looky, no touchy person, or the other stickers say, I'm one of these people. So I made these first. And then the people that really like to be touched are like, well, what about me? Where's my sticker? And I was like, okay, well, duality is a reality. I guess I got to make a sticker for these people too. It made valid point. So I made a sticker that says "squeeze please" with a peach emoji on it. And those are literally all gone. The people that like to be touched out at parties, like they like want to plaster them everywhere. Like they went faster than anything I've ever any
But
sticker I've ever made. So
like, like
but then you can non-verbally just look at someone without having to verbally check in because oftentimes the music is loud at these events. It's hard to even communicate what your name is because the speakers are blaring at you. So nonverbal communication creation is something that I'm also working on and doing.
I wish, like, also I understand the event industry and how that works, but also I wish that you had Nook safe spaces in like places where like there even wasn't even an event and just people just want to just maybe have like a like a potluck social or something like that too, because like in India, like there's not like a lot of events, but like the women, seem to just get blamed more often. And a lot of people just keep quiet, to be honest with you. And because they don't want to get in trouble with anybody and not have to like not be able to leave their house. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And then I wanted to ask you, so like what were the challenges when you first started your Nook Safe Space? I know you're still getting into it. And then what misconceptions are there that you're clearing up for everyone, in this podcast?
Well, I love that you asked this question because it helps me bring up a really relevant incident that I did not talk about on the other podcast.
Okay.
However, a local festival put out their lineup, and two of the people in the headlining area had either directly narcissistically abused me in the recent 3 months, or the other guy catfished me on a date. He lied and said he was 10 years younger than he actually was. He was in his 50s and he bragged about taking home 20-year-old girls after his DJ sets, giving them a bunch of tequila, receiving a blowjob, and sending them on their way. It's like catch and release. So this guy bragged about being a sexual predator to me while on a date with a consent educator. And I did not feel okay about this. And the person that does the bookings for this event is a female who I thought in a previous time was a friend of mine.
Did
So
she not
I
take?
sent her a
Did she
direct.
not stand up for you, McKenzie?
Oh, she threatened me with a lawsuit, girl.
Oh, okay. And what
Yeah,
about the
yeah, yeah.
other
Quite the
situation?
opposite. I was really shocked and surprised
What are you
myself.
doing for that? What do you have to do for that now?
It was a threat. It didn't happen. And I didn't ever name the festival publicly, and I still haven't. So you can't claim any kind of
Yeah.
defamation or slander if I'm not naming the place. I'm just talking about my lived
Like,
experience and I'm being
like,
vague.
why can't you say the place without getting defamation? Why can't you say that? Is that if
I
we could,
currently just had to help one of my best friends file a restraining order yesterday, as well as myself with a recent ex. So I've got like actual current imminent danger domestic violence situations going on in my actual life right now. So
okay,
naming that particular event is
it
a
could be
little
more
lower on the
stressful.
totem
I
pole.
see.
Like,
Yeah, I really understand you. Well, actually, something that brings up something that happened to me, where when I was younger, I got jealous. My ex was talking to somebody, and I got jealous, and I said something. Then he went and took the the writing that we texted on his phone, and went and got like some restraining order. I'm like 8 hours away. I was never gonna be over there. And actually, at that time, my parents had sent me to rehab. So it's just like kind of like brought this memory where like people just gotta understand what's important and what's not, and like who is dangerous and who's not. Obviously, I'm like not a dangerous person, you know, I've never done anything to hurt anyone in
Yeah.
my life. I've only helped people, and like, the person's like so like listening to their friend, they don't want to like just like make it cool, you know? It's like the life is short. Make it cool. Life is short, you know? And you only get so many
I love
chances,
that. I
you know,
love
like
that. And this is,
like you said, like it's
you're
on
so
the
right.
what is important, what's not on the you. There is a ladder, ascending ladder, descending ladder. What'd you say?
Oh, you made me think when I was working in corporate America, they would say there are things that are urgent and things that are not as urgent, and then there are things that are important and not as important. But if something's important and it's urgent, that goes to the top of the list, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah,
So like it's
completely.
if that makes sense, it just made me think of that. And, right now I'm prioritizing actual dangerous, previously convicted violent felons
Yeah,
and making sure that those restraining orders were filed because there is actual documented criminal violent history for both of them. And I
right.
was just going to keep quiet and not do anything about mine
I understand.
because it's easier to just not say anything, like you were saying, and just be like, it's probably going to go away. And it wasn't all that bad. He did property damage on my home. He ripped off my security ring camera.
Oh,
Like, so there was definitely he didn't physically harm me yet, but I saw what happened to my best friend this week and
oh, and you
helping to
want
clean
to
up
take
the
no
aftermath
chances.
of it. It made me realize that it was important for me to protect myself because
Yeah,
my
you do have
situation
to
was
protect.
mirrored, just not quite as severe yet.
Yeah, but it could get. So
Yeah, and I want to just
thank
make sure that there's no capacity for them to be anywhere near me without it being a violation.
right. I thank you for sharing and being so open with me on things that are not really that easy to share, because these types of things, you know, it's like what's gonna somebody gonna think of me, like that. These kind of thoughts run through anyone's head, you know what I mean? um how do you promote inclusivity and diversity so everyone feels welcome and respected, right off the bat, like right before they come to your space?
So it's incredibly important to me that the team is diverse. That comes to down to race, gender, sexual identity. So I'm currently in growth mode because I've had people involved with Nook that I see the best in people. Sometimes I view the world through rose-colored glasses, and I know I've had the ability to elevate and do better and be better. So sometimes that part of my thinking allows me to miss certain red flags. Like when you're wearing rose-colored glasses, it's hard to see some red flags. So I've had some people involved that have ended up not being aligned with like the values and the real mission.
Uh-huh.
So I'm in a process of building. I just actually gained a really amazing trans person of color
Oh,
on my
nice.
team. Yeah,
Nice,
so
because yeah, it's
that's
important for everyone to be understood.
and you never know what someone's feeling dysregulated or uncomfortable by, but if it was potentially a racial interaction, they
Uh-huh.
may not want to talk to me because of my skin color. And I can understand that. I've had a man in my space who had some sort of issue with either current or previous women, and he wouldn't speak to me. And I was trying to give him electrolytes and trying to be really nice, and
Yeah.
I just couldn't get through to him at all. And I was so grateful that I had someone, wasn't even a designated volunteer of mine. They were actually an actor at the space next to me. This was at Desert Hearts Music Festival where I was had my first paid harm reduction consent education gig, which was amazing.
Oh, okay.
um, but this guy from next door just strolled by and he was like, he kept checking in because he really likes the project. And he was like, hey, how's everything going? And I was like, I like just kind of made eyes with him, like maybe like check on this person.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he had
yeah.
to talk to him for I think like an hour to 2 hours. And because it was man to man, he was able to get through to him and help him. Whereas there's nothing I can do to change my appearance. I actually identify as non-binary, but I look like a female. I was born in a female body. To
Right.
me, it's more about how I feel inside, and that's I don't feel particular. I just feel like me. I don't feel particularly one gender or another, but by looks of me, people presume that I'm a woman, you know? So
Right. Right. Do you have like a certain signs and stuff that you do to the other people in the team that you have going so that besides the eye language you also have like some sort of signs that like go talk to this person now.
that is a great thing. I've created two signs, and they're more for interpersonal communication. So one is this, and that's to cue someone in that they're looping. You know, when somebody is like,
Oh,
especially if they've been on alcohol or some other type of substance and they just they're just on repeat.
yeah.
So you can cue them in without calling them out in front of everyone so that, and
That's
you
what
do
I
it
was
right by your eye line so that if they're making eye contact and actually connecting, they'll see it, and you can just kind of keep it really cute, you know, like my med series,
right, right.
but then they can be like, oh no, I'm doing the thing. Okay, I
Oh,
can
right.
stop talking now. Or you know,
Yeah.
like it happens to the best of us. And like, you know, this other one, this is my little like dancing finger, which is like, I would really like to interject, and I have something I'd like to say, and I feel a little bit railroaded right now. So can I please, is it my turn to talk yet? Please, I have something I'd like to say without saying it in a way where it triggers the person or makes them feel attacked. Like, I'm just trying to come up with different ways for us to navigate some of these challenging communication things and keep
Yeah.
people in alignment with their highest and best selves, and not reverting back to like old learned behaviors and like the like reptile brain that's survival based.
Okay. That's really cool to know. I hope that you develop more languages, like more of your own signs so that people are in the moment with you.
Thank
What
you.
major types of conflicts that you're facing, or the main conflicts that people come in for, besides looping?
Oh, well, they don't know that they're looping, so they're not coming in for that. But then they're there for 30 minutes, and I'm like, I've heard this story 5 times. Like, all right, like, hey, want to learn something cool that I created? It's this thing. It's a
Yeah,
nonverbal way to tell someone that this
yeah,
thing is happening right now. So they
that's
don't
okay.
necessarily come in for that reason. They usually come in because they're dehydrated, because they're overheating, because they're hungry, they've lost their friends. I don't know if you, from the psychology term, the halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that
Yeah. So, like, usually something along those lines. They're
one.
lonely. They lost their friends. They're like, can I be here? Can I sit with you? Like, I don't know where my friends are. Like, yeah, you can sit with me as long as you want. Let's kick it. What do you want to do? You want to talk? Do you want to not talk? Do you want to do a craft? Like,
You want to not
what are you feeling right now?
talk. So, what are the like how do you use empathy to maintain everyone everyone's wellness?
How do I use empathy?
Yeah, in maintaining everyone's
Well,
wellness.
it's very hardwired. It's very hardwired into me. If anything, what I'm kind of trying to learn right now is how to be not such a sponge, so
Okay, that's a
that
good one.
I can, I can, I can hold space for it, but not absorb as much of it. Like maybe still have that spongy center, but have like some kind of an exoskeleton around me so that when people come in and are either dysregulated or angry or not in a good way, it doesn't permeate that like soft, spongy center that is me. So,
Yeah, I could feel that. Like I'm super empathetic, so I can relate to that like very, very much. Um, is there any like concerns for privacy that people have by entering the space and like is there like do people feel embarrassed that they came and got help or
yeah, so that's kind of what the whole vision is with it, is that it's a fun space that you can be in even when you don't need help. It's just a fun place to hang out, you know? And
right?
I'm actually getting DJ decks that will be a part of NookSafeSpace. So if people want to, hey, you're here to see your favorite DJs, do you want to learn how to do it? Because if they can do it, you can do it. Because if I can
Oh
do it, you can
wow,
do it.
that's nice.
Yeah, so it's like it's a fun place to hang out. It's not just like a crisis zone. Like it's
Okay,
it's
okay.
honest it's honestly really cool to be able to create that kind of a vibe so that people just again can like do that proactive self-care so that
Uh-huh.
they don't end up having to go to a more elevated crisis type of a space because I'm not equipped for that. I don't have a like a registered nurse or an EMT on staff yet. At this
Okay.
point though, if someone's at a higher level, I have a radio and I will call for medical or I'll call for security. So like it's not if it's really like above a certain point, I'm very self-aware to being like this is out of my bounds of like I'm not quite sure what to do, or this person might need medical attention, or I just might not have enough training on this level of crisis or mental crisis in this facet to be able to really serve this person. So that's when you have a team of people and you work collaboratively and you just call for, an
Right.
assist. Like that's why these things run with teams of people who are specialized at different strong suits.
Oh, nice. Very good. Um, also, how do we reach you? How are all the different ways to reach you and Safe Next Space? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've tried to make it very simple. So I'm Nook Safe Space on Instagram. Sorry, I need a lot. Like, speaking of hydrating, I need a lot of water.
Okay, I'll have a sip of water too.
Okay. I was like, wow, that was perfect timing. Yeah, water break. The water challenge is also something that I do at Nook Safe Space. I just try to like make it competitive, and like that's definitely my East Coast side that comes out of me. I'm from Florida originally, but I'm out on the West Coast now, and I'm like, yo, you want to do a water challenge? You down? You think you're gonna get schooled by me? Like, let's go. And I'll just kind of competitively try to get people to drink water with me because it's fun.
But
Anyways, that is a total neurodivergent little tangent. Back back on topic. You can find me on at www.nooksafespace.com. Facebook, open group, Nook Safe Space. We have close to 700 members now.
nice.
And Instagram, also Nook Safe Space. So all the places, pretty much the same way to find me. And yeah, thank you so much for asking that question because sometimes it's easy to forget to self promote, which
Well, yeah,
I
I just wanted to make
totally
sure
dropped
that
the
everyone
ball on.
knows how to reach you.
Yeah, thank you. I totally dropped the ball on fundraising for Burning Man. I did my best and like I've been so like diverted with different crises and people moving in and out of my home that I own and things and stuff that I'm like, well, it's a learning process. We're always evolving and learning new lessons and how to prioritize what we need, not only for our projects, but for ourselves and our own mental and emotional health. So
Where are you in the West
I'm
Coast
excited.
now? Where are you in
What
the
was
West?
that?
Where are you in the West Coast now?
Portland, Oregon.
Oh, I haven't been there yet, but I'm sure I love it. I've been through it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Let me
Do
know
you
if
love
you're
it
ever here.
there?
Will you remind me where you were located again?
Oh, okay. I'm in Bangalore, India, right now.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then I kept being like, did I just imagine that? Or I think that's right though. Okay, good. Well, thank you.
So if you're ever
Thank
here,
you. I've
I'm
been
here.
using more actual sign language too. Like, thank you. Like, so you don't have to say something from across the room to a housemate or a friend. They can just see and like water,
I need to
if you need water and you're in the
learn
middle of a
sign
task,
language.
you could ask someone for water without verbally
Yeah,
saying a word. So
yeah. I have like a similar problem too, because like I like talk too much, and then like sometimes I get I have to like say sorry because I cut the other person off because I get so excited talking to them. I was gonna ask
you're
you.
great.
Yeah, thanks. You are too. Um,
Thank you.
what are the most heartwarming um heartwarming occurrences of solace and support that where you've provided somebody or someone on your team has given someone so much support that they literally end up in tears or they were just so grateful.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many to choose from, but so these are my classic first stickers I ever created. They say, "Thank you for being you."
Uh-huh.
And they're gratitude and positivity promotional stickers. And I'm gonna spoiler alert my first TED talk, but my first TED talk's gonna be how I saved a life with a sticker. And I give these out in the default world all the time, not just at events. So grocery store, gas station, anytime I'm interacting with a human, I'll just drop them one because you don't have to say a word and they see it, and just the lighting up of their face or their spirit is just, it's obvious. So I gave one to a person. I was at a Dollar Tree, which is a American dollar
Yeah, yeah,
store. Cheap,
I love
you
that.
know, okay. I was like,
For
for anyone
30.
that's not aware. So I'm at the Dollar Tree in central Southern Oregon, and I give one to the person at the checkout counter, and they immediately just started bawling. And they said to me, "I was going to take my life after work today, and this was the sign that I needed to not do that. Thank you."
Oh,
And like now I'm crying in the dollar store.
yeah.
The person, everyone in the dollar store saw like having a really like moment of like, life is short and there are things to be grateful for. And there's so many different stories of other times when people, where I could give examples, but that's probably the best one. So I wanted to lead with that
Yeah.
one.
How did you get invited to do the TED Talk? How excited are you to be able to do that?
Oh, this is just me like envisioning my future. This has not happened yet.
Oh, okay. Well, it
This
will
is how my
happen.
imagination
It'll
works.
happen.
This is how my imagination works because I'm building and creating my dream life. And I start thinking about these things way ahead of time because you got to start manifesting and planting these sparkly seeds in order to pull things like that into your existence and believe that it's possible for you. So,
Yeah, like I was running in a certain way, like where I was moving from project to project, which is my general tendency. But then when I came here, so I came out of a TV situation when at first I did need help, but then after that, so I started like going on dates and like, having a beer every now and then and things like that. And then my parents had threw me in another mental hospital because they were just like that she's not okay right now. She's she's going back to the same person, or I don't know what they thought,
mm,
but they put me back in there. And then so like for a few years I've been kind of in and out of those things, and now I'm completely out of that. And I'm just doing my podcast and gymming like all the time. So I really couldn't wait more to come back. But I have to like, I'm doing these things so I can raise myself funds, so I can, when I come back I'm okay, I'm not like struggling so hard that I have to like stay at someone's house or something like that. And I just, what was I saying?
well,
What
I'm
was
really
it?
proud of you and thank you for vulnerably sharing. That was really brave. And thank you for sharing your story a little bit. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's kind of hard to say those things, but yeah. So I mean, I because of all these things, that's what I was gonna say. I got diverged from my all my projects, from all my art projects, and literally I can't afford my art supplies to do art right now. So I've been a painter for like 20 years now. And I've been creative my whole life, but like I definitely considered myself like an actual artist like 20 years ago. And to try to like create some sort of like platform for artists in a different way. Like I really think what you're doing is so excellent. Like I couldn't be prouder of you. And like I hope that what you're doing makes it to India and like gives people that place that we definitely need over here.
Thank you. I'm proud of you too. And thank you for the inspiration because my vision is definitely global. And I have been asked to do an event in Thailand. So
Nice.
that is hopefully on the horizon for me next year.
Yeah, that's
What was
that's
that?
really wonderful. And like I can't wait to meet in person and like start doing all the juggling, all the stuff that's in my head all the time. But right now I'm just gonna stick to what the two things and I hope that I can come back because that's the goal and the dream. Because even though the healthcare system is actually better here, I can't live without live music. It's like living without water. You know what I mean? Like I just there's no like
Yes, I do.
music. It's like living over here. I've been living here for 5 years and I haven't seen one live music event. So that's been really kind of tough. Oh, so I wanted to ask you also what just really quick, we have 4 more minutes. What is there anything that you left out? Anything specific or general that you might want to just say to wrap things up?
It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to get things wrong and make mistakes. What's important is creating more self-awareness and accountability in terms of how you respond, and hopefully learn to respond versus react to things that happen in your life, and be open for feedback.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get it wrong. I've even gotten it wrong. I gave someone a shoulder rub one time when I thought it was okay because they were complaining that their shoulders hurt. And they told me later that it made them uncomfortable. And I apologized because I didn't, that wasn't okay. And they were a male who said that, they really appreciated my response because in the past people had told, he's brought things like that up before, and that people just shut him down like, oh, you should take that as a compliment, or like nothing happened to you. I've been gaslit like that before too. And I was like,
Mhm.
no, dude, like I thought I was being helpful. Clearly I wasn't. And thank you for telling me. And it's all about making positive pivots from what sometimes seems like difficult feedback at a moment, so that you can elevate and just continue to expand your consciousness and do better and be better.
Right. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure having you, and then I can't wait to hear all your new developments the next time we have you on here.
Thank you. Thank you. You're amazing. I cannot wait to speak to you again. And I'm so glad you're my friend in India now.
Yeah, thank you, McKenzie. Love you.
Thank you.
Love
Love
you.
you. Have a great night.
You too, Dave.
Bye.
Bye.